This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Lots going on today. Good morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for Dan Proft.
Hey.
Welcome back. We had a day off from each other, but now we're back together. You got to sleep in yesterday.
I did.
You lucky.
I got
you
some
know
sleep.
what?
I got some sleep. I think it was 8 o'clock, 7:45, 8 o'clock when I laid down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. Would you have to get ready for getting up early?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? But
I had to white knuckle it in to work this morning.
Oh, yeah. How bad was it?
Well, it was snow down where I live, down in the Joliet, Manuka area, and I cross over into Bolingbrook. There's no snow.
Okay.
I'm white knuckling,
which
literally.
means it's on the way.
Probably.
Yes. All right. Big day today. President Trump via satellite or Zoom.
I wouldn't show up.
Is going to be sentenced today. There will be no jail time. There will be no fines. There will be no probation. But yet the hearing is going to go on.
Yeah.
And tell us why. With more on that, let's welcome to the program Mark Tapscott. You can follow him on X at MTAPSCOTT. He writes for the Epoch Times and chief congressional correspondent. Welcome to the program. How are you?
Well, good morning, Amy and John. How are y'all?
Good. So where are you going to be at 9 o'clock or 8:30 Eastern time today?
Well, I'm lucky enough I don't have to be in a courtroom in New York City. So.
But are you going to be watching, or are you just going to ignore this? And should Trump just ignore this, or does he literally have to show up?
I certainly will have an ear tuned to it because this is historic. It'll be assuming nothing unexpected happens today in the courtroom. President-elect Trump will emerge from this thing with the lawfare left will finally be able to say and be factually accurate about it that Trump has, got a felony conviction, or one or more of them, however many it is. And that's never happened before. So when he is inaugurated on the 20th of January, that will be the asterisk on it.
Yep. All the media can then say that he's a convicted felon because he was found guilty, but you're not technically a convicted felon until you're sentenced.
Until you're sentenced. But even that being a fact, I have a suspicion that when all is said and done, when the last final appeal is exhausted, the Supreme Court is going to look at this whole process and they're going to say, no, this was not legitimate. I was puzzled by the Supreme Court yesterday, but that doesn't preclude them in the final analysis saying this whole thing was a joke.
Yeah. And Amy Coney Barrett and Judge Roberts, they sided with the liberal justices, correct, on deciding not to delay the sentencing hearing?
Yeah, Roberts was not so much of a surprise. He's kind of an unkind term that I hear frequently in connection with him is squish.
Okay. We're familiar with squishy Republicans around here in Illinois.
So,
it's okay.
Yeah, I suspected you were.
Yeah.
And Barrett, that was a surprise because she is very much a strict constitutionalist, and I was surprised by that.
Wow. Do you think Trump's having any regrets that he appointed her to the bench, to the Supreme Court?
Probably not. I mean, you never know. Trust me, you never know how a Supreme Court appointee is going to, how they're going to rule on any given case. So,
all right. So as the chief
disappointed, that's a waste of energy.
Yep. As the chief congressional correspondent at the Epoch Times, I'm sure you know that J.D. Vance has officially resigned from the U.S. Senate. So who is going to replace him?
That is a great question, and I have not done the backgrounding on that yet. Thank you for reminding me before my editors.
I know. I'm giving you a homework assignment, Mark, on a Friday morning.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it.
But Vivek Ramaswamy did not want it, correct?
I have heard that, yes, and frankly, I can understand why. I mean, my goodness, he's got a far more effective platform being paired with Elon Musk on the Doge project. Being a senator from Ohio is not exactly the most spectacular position that one could have.
Well, there are three names that are out there. Ohio State Lieutenant Governor John Husted, Secretary of State Frank LaRose, and former Ohio Republican Party Chair Jane Timken. Those are three names that are being bandied about. And I do believe Husted and DeWine went to visit Trump in Mar-a-Lago. So,
Okay.
yeah. So
Well,
that
it
might
will
be
be a Republican. Well,
right.
obviously,
Yeah, of course.
That's going to be appointed. But what about other seats like Matt Gaetz and
Marco
Stefanik and Marco Rubio? I mean, there's a list of other openings, and we want to keep those, seats safe.
Mm-hmm. I suspect, certainly with Marco Rubio's Senate seat, that the Trump sister-in-law. Can't believe I am not thinking.
Laura?
Oh, you mean Laura Trump?
Laura, yeah, she took herself out of consideration for that. So, but I can guarantee you, whoever DeSantis appoints, it will be a very conservative person. The others are going to be filled in special elections.
Yeah.
Right.
And that won't happen until, I think, February.
Okay.
Maybe March.
Because when
So
Trump
that's
keeps
gonna be a
picking these
problem for Mike Johnson.
when Trump keeps picking these congressional members to take cabinet positions, and be the U.S. ambassador to the UN, it gets me a little jumpy because we have such a slim majority right now.
Yeah. Well, there are lots and lots and lots of really smart, intelligent, hardworking, successful people out there who, it's time for them to step forward and run for Congress and do their part to, fix this country.
Yeah, I agree. Especially the Stefanik seat. Remember, that used to be held by Congressman Owens, a Democrat, for many, many years. So that's a seat. I know it's highly Republican now, but I wanna shift topics a little bit. There's rumors that we have uniformed CCP soldiers stationed in Mexico right now. What's going on with that? And I know there's a hotel that the Chinese have basically they're actually living there, staying there. All these Chinese people are stationed at in Mexico. How concerning is that?
Oh, that is extremely concerning. I mean, if you think about it, in the last 4 years, we have had, as part of this flood of however many millions it may be of illegal people who have crossed into the country illegally, and hundreds and thousands of them that were gotaways, so we don't have any idea who they are. We do know of 703 people on the terrorist watch list who have come into the country. We also know that about 35,000 mostly young Chinese men of military age have come into the country. They're not here on tourist visas. They're not here to see, the Washington Monument. What are they here for?
Right.
And, this is advance evidence of the Chinese Communist Party, the Beijing regime, their continuing effort to extend their influence throughout Latin and South America and right up to our borders and then across our borders. So, yeah, this is a big deal, and I'm pretty confident that it'll be a priority for Trump. I think that's part of the reason why he's raised the Panama Canal issue, which kind of came out of the blue.
Yeah.
Well, and also you tweeted something a little bit controversial at M. Tapscott. Given the knowns and the known unknowns, should Trump forego the outdoor Capitol inaugural proceedings and instead move the swearing in to the Oval Office?
I tell you, Amy, I appreciate your asking me about that because I'm a little surprised that there's not more discussion about that. We've just had, at least one terrorist attack for sure in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. As I mentioned already, the 703 people on the terrorist watch list that are known to be here. And if nothing else, the month of drone sightings in New Jersey, we learned from that frankly, American drone technology is behind the Chinese. So, it would not be a big challenge for a drone to penetrate the outdoor ceremony.
Yeah, but hopefully they're going to be watching the outdoor airspace above the Capitol, even near the Capitol. But then on Wednesday, Capitol Police arrested a man who was in possession of a machete and 3 knives. And he came to the Capitol on Wednesday shortly before, President-elect Donald Trump arrived to meet with state senators and view the casket of former President Jimmy Carter.
But what if somebody has a stealth drone?
Oh.
See, that's the problem. And yes, that guy that was arrested, you get in that cases like that periodically on Capitol Hill.
Well, Trump was he talked about the drone situation, and he said on day one he's going to release it. What are your thoughts?
Hiding it all?
Right. What are your thoughts about this drone, all these drone sightings, and why the government has gone silent on it?
That is one of the most puzzling things that I've seen, and I've been here for covering this place for more decades than I care to remember. It really is puzzling. I have talked to all kinds of folks who are intelligence experts, people who are defense technology experts. I used to cover defense technology earlier in my career. If I had to make a conclusion right now, I would say it is some kind of U.S. technology being tested. But I would not exclude the possibility that it's not our government that did it. People have, foreign adversaries have gotten so bold in the last 4 years because they knew Biden was not going to be responding firmly. So you have to consider the possibility. If you don't consider all of the possibilities, you're not doing your job.
All right, Mark Tapscott, thank you so much for joining us. You can follow him on X at @mtapscott, and he writes for Epoch Times. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, my pleasure, and thank you for the homework assignment.
All right, have a great day. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560.